In the previous plugin settings video, I had told you that we were going to have some major changes to the overlay plugin. So that happened. So this video is just going to get you up to speed on that. This is the one that changed. It's now called just OTP overlay. And we've got our little settings here. So just click that. And as you can see, it is different. Now you can just click this and you can add a URL here and it's going to iframe that. And you can have it to where the person visiting could X out of that and see the underlying content or not. Now, in the pages that OTP creates, you're always going to want to make sure that they don't have a way to see the underlying content, obviously. But the reason that we put this in here is because if you put some pages on yourself, you're doing them manually, that it's not OTP pages, and you want the ability to do overlays on them, well, you could still use this same plugin to do that overlay. Now understand, you can only use this plugin once, so if it's going to make it on all of it, if you set it to where there's no X, right, to where the person can't see the underlying content, okay, well then that's across the board for everywhere that has this shortcode in it, right? So it's either an all or none thing with this, but I just wanted to give you some extra flexibility with the plugin. So anyhow, you could put a URL in here and it iframes it, and I'm going to show you that. But here's the thing, not all pages are able to be iframed. It's just some of the new standards, and so I'm gonna go ahead and try to find one that doesn't allow iframing so that I can show you, and then show you one that does. Okay, so let's just go ahead and we're going to click here. We're going to tell it, all right, let's put in our URL there. We're going to tell it we want it to cover the full screen and click save. And this says not saved because I just checked this. I told you a moment ago I wanted to find one that wouldn't work. So I'm going to show that to you. And you see it gives us an error. So it takes you a half a second to check, right? All right, so let me go ahead so now we'll go ahead, we'll do one real quick that I just checked it so I know that it'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. I'm going to tell it to not show the X. We're going to save that. It's saved. And now when we go to our page and look at it, there it is. Right? And this is my own website. This is covering my own content. Right? So we're able to show this and promote our product. So I have we'll just say that I had 1.2 million pages of content, and I could lay this over on top of it. A lot of those pages are indexed. So in other words, I'm getting a lot of clicks, right? And it's something that can be sold. Okay, let me go ahead and do it like this time. Because we took out the overlay, and let's come over here. Let's check again. We didn't take out the overlay, we put the X on it. Now, as you can see here, and we've got an X to where we can close this, and you're able to see my content underneath, right? So I just don't recommend this at all. It sort of defeats the purpose. If you're using it with OTP, if you're just using it on some other site, well, that's fine. But using it with OTP, you most certainly, let me get this refreshed again, want to make it to where there's none. Okay, so that's all there is to that part. Now let's change things up, and let's say that we want to put in our own stuff right here, right? So what I did is I went and grabbed some just the embed code from a YouTube video, and I could do something like do that, and then have my opt-in code. And again, I'm going to tell it, no, I don't want it to have an X on there. So we'll save that. Now let's come back over. Let's refresh this. And there you go. I mean, I could have centered it. Obviously, I mean, it's a YouTube video that's embedded, so we're able to do anything we want. And I could sit here and make it all pretty, but you see what I did. I would be able to really make myself any sort of a custom page that I wanted to, and that's going to show up over my content. All of this content that's in here, you know, that's a lot of stuff that you could be ranked for, and it's covered just how I want it to be. Okay. Now, one more thing that I want to just take a moment to go over is, if you didn't want an overlay at all, you know, just say that you just wanted your traffic to just automatically be taken onto you know, whatever page that you had set up in your URL rotator. Well, you can, in the software itself, you could set that to 0, right? So it's going to have a 0-second delay, so it's going to just auto direct. But you think, well, what do you do? What do you do if you didn't want, you know, you didn't even want them to be auto redirected somewhere? You already built your site and you have, you know, 7 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. You have a delay in there. You've got tens of thousands of pages built, and now you've changed your mind. You're thinking, man, I don't want them to be automatically transported anywhere. I just want them to stay on the page that I'm showing them, my overlay page, for example. I just want them to be there, and then, you know, they can click on from there to make their purchase or whatever they're going to do. And you don't want to have to go back and change all of those pages to take out the transport part. So all you do is just deactivate this one that says OTP transport. Just deactivate it. When you do that, that's going to stop it from redirecting. That's going to stop it from ever reaching your URL rotator, right? So if you turn this off, if you deactivate it, well, by default, this is what is feeding your URL rotator. So if this never triggers it, well, then this one is by default on its own redirected, right? So that's how you would do that if you wanted to. If you didn't want to use the URL rotator, you didn't want any of this, you could just deactivate this one, and now whatever's on your overlay page when the person lands there, they're just staying there, right? They're not going to move until they went ahead and did whatever it was that you're hoping that they'll do. And that's it. That's the new plugin change.